Here's what the basic structure scan, down scan is going to look like when you just bring up a full screen of that. Now, the biggest difference here is it's a 455 or 800 kilohertz as opposed to 83 or 200. So we get a ton of detail on here, and that's an important thing from the standpoint of if you go over something, I can tell you exactly what it really is, whether it's a willow bush or a cottonwood tree, or whether it's a sunken boat, or when the people that run this lake call us to go look for something, it's because they know we have good units and we can find something on the bottom. For instance, dead people or sunken boats or whatever the other stuff they're looking for on the bottom. That's because you have the high frequency, but again, you don't have the range. We've talked about that a whole bunch. Now, one of the key things can be color palette. Even just in filming this, we looked at a couple of color palette issues. I can change the color palette to fit either whatever it is you're looking at so you can see better stuff. But that's a personal preference. It doesn't change anything. The most important thing to always keep in mind is the brighter something is, the harder it is, the better return that this unit got off that. Agreed?
Yes. It's kind of like shining a flashlight off something. It reflects off that object and it's bright. Anything on the back side of it is dark. Is a shadow.
So speaking of dark, now this is down scanning. Now if we go back to here, I didn't want to do that. I did that all wrong. If we go back to here and we go to my view, now I can change this to left and right, and now I'm looking out both sides of the boat. Now you guys see this right here? You see this real bright spot that keeps showing up on screen? That's because as the boat's swinging back and forth, it's picking up the bottom of that's anchoring that buoy right there. There's a big piece of concrete underneath there. This is shooting out to the side. As the boat swings around, the sonar beam can hit that and it will show up on the screen. The key thing to here to understand is this is the water line. Here's the boat right here at the top.
That's the path of your boat, is this white line.
And the boat is effectively right here. All of this is behind the boat at this point. Now, a lot of people struggle with this image and they're like, well, what am I looking at here? And I'm gonna zoom this out a little bit, or in, I should say, a little bit. And so the bottom is here, this is the boat. Here comes the boat swung around again, and here comes that thing right here again that I was telling you about. Now, here's what you're actually looking at. We have this, okay? This is what you see right here. What this is in the real world is this, okay? Such that the depth of the water is the height of that fold in the paper. And I'm not really good at origami. I didn't even get my fold just right. But you get an idea that this is the depth of the water, and then anything out there is out on a hypotenuse. So it takes this 3D image, flattens it out, and puts it on this screen. So the bait fish that you see on this screenshot that Dan generated, those bait fish are on both sides of the boat. They're basically right under the boat. More of them are off to the right than are off to the left, which is why you're seeing some of this. And I can determine that range more or less by looking at my range right here. So obviously in this case, the water's 33 feet straight under the boat. If you look at here, you go, oh, that looks like more than 33 because it's on a hypotenuse a little bit. And you see this dark spot, that's a roll in the bottom. And all these bait fish are sitting all over right there. If you look on our real screen right here, notice those same bait fish are all over the place right here because this is a screenshot from this lake. And since the boat's not moving, they're all smeared. What speed is it that I've heard that structure scan works the best? It's like 3 miles an hour or something?
3 to 5 generally.
3 to 5 miles an hour.
10 is like the max you could go.
Okay. So at 3 to 5 miles an hour, I'm getting my best picture, and obviously we're sitting still and this is gonna smear. Another really key thing about this is if the boat turns, it's going to bend whatever image you see right here, because effectively this is we basically have a stripe, like a broom almost, that we're sweeping the bottom with is the shape, as opposed to a round cone. There, you guys are almost picking up the actual image. There's a 4 feet square, 8-inch thick concrete block right there. And that's what that is. And then some of this will be the chains that it's ricocheting off, because the water's gone down, the chain's hanging limp. And that's what you're looking at over here to the right of the boat, even without the boat moving. So since I have this fancy trolley motor, we can take the boat forward. And as soon as I start driving us forward, then you will see that, let me straighten the boat out and get it going in a straight line. We'll just go in a straight line forward, and my image will get real nice and clear as I get us dialed into a straight line forward. I'll pick up some speed. And then as we go, our image will now get nice and clear, guys, as we move along. So now here's a concrete block I was telling you about. You notice there's a dark side on there. The reason that part of that is dark is that's the opposite side, okay? There's the chain coming up, and the buoy, obviously, because it's higher in the water column than the beam will go, you don't even see it. But as we move along here, now all those stripes turn into little dots. And let me change my palette to maybe this one. I'm hoping we can see them. But those little dots right there, those are all various bait fish. There's another big block. You can see the shade behind it right there. You can see the chain from another buoy that we went by over there. And as we move along here, as long as we move in a straight line, we're gonna get a real clear image of everything on the bottom. If you notice, they hooked up to this buoy and they drug it. See that? That's the mark where they drug that buoy over there where they wanted it and drug that thing on the bottom, and you get a nice scrub on the bottom that's harder, which is why it's white. If you look over here, what do we got right there, Dano?
That looks like a bunch of bait fish.
Yeah, a whole bunch of shad. And those are all higher in the water column, mostly over here to the right of the boat. You can see the wrinkles in the bottom. And this is basically showing me a cross section of the bottom, no matter where I go. So as I move around on this, it's showing me a cross section of the bottom the whole time. And that's really important because it really shows me what my bottom content really looks like as we move around in here. These are all shad, and then you'll also see smelt depending on where we go in the lake. And then you can see the natural boundary. You see these white edges. Those white edges are the edges of the channel themselves. Individual rocks down here, and that all shows up really good on this screen. But as soon as I turn the boat, let's say I turn the boat hard and we start going in a circle, it's going to bend all of this image. And when it bends that image, you no longer can trust what you're looking at because it just wrapped everything around, okay?
Yeah, because the outside isn't covering as much distance as the inside is at the same frequency.
Right.
So it smears the image.
It smears the whole thing. So we'll straighten it back out a little bit and go back this way. Now as we go along in a straight line, again, you look at these schools of shad and they stick out like a sore thumb. You can see the chain again. Everything you want to be able to see is all right there, and real simple. Now, this dark line, guys, is not a soft spot in the bottom. That dark line is not a soft spot. That is a roll in the bottom where the bottom rolls away. So there's higher between here and there. All of these real bright white spots you see in here, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more, and you'll get a better view of them. All of these real bright white spots you're seeing, those are all rocks on the bottom of the main channel that's coming in underneath here. All of this, guys, that's all shad. So when people tell you fish around the bait, that's what you're looking for on there. Now, if we go to one of my split screens, like I've already showed you, let's say we go to here, and now we're gonna see all of the above. We're gonna switch this one to down. Now you're gonna get the maximum image of everything you can see right here. You can see the shad on the 2D, you can see the shad on the 3D. You get, these two images are reading from different transducers, so they have different depths. You've got your side scanning, you can see the hard spot on the bottom all the way along, another hard spot. You look over here, you can see another buoy over there and a chain laying on the bottom. I mean, you can literally see everything you would wanna see. Look at all the bait sitting right here, guys. Very, very, very simple.